Thank you for joining us at Grateful Gratitude with LoLo and Lexie. We are practicing gratitude girls that strive every day to recognize and celebrate our blessings. We are a mother and daughter that practice gratitude every day and put God in the center of our life. The only way to live a blessed and happy life is to be grateful. May you feel God's love and blessing each and every day.
Time for another episode of Grateful Gratitude with Lolo and Lexie, and I'm looking forward to this one because I have no idea where we're going, but we're calling it Everyday Miracles.
Yeah. Well, the topic for this podcast is Everyday Miracles, but what it comes from is people will say, I have nothing to be grateful for, and right now I'm going through a tough time and I can't be grateful. And we're going to point out some things that you can be grateful for that don't even require your work.
Yeah.
Can I just make a very broad, generic statement?
Of course.
If you are listening to us right now and you think you have nothing to be grateful for, you're so completely wrong. And it's not just because you're listening to us. Okay, but if you're listening to us,
you should be grateful.
If you're listening to us,
this is a miracle that you're listening to us
know,
right now.
Well, no, but I do know a few things about you. If you're listening to us, I know that you have the ability to either listen to us through a computer or through a phone. That means that you're living a lifestyle that, if you compare it to the rest of the world, you're in the top 10% of wealth in the world. You really are.
That's true.
And it's not all about money. It's not all about wealth.
Right.
We talk about this all the time, but you're in a very good spot right now if you're able to listen to us.
Well, we're going to take it even more simple than that. Okay. So I want to remind our listeners that every day your heart beats over 100,000 times, and we put no effort into that. Mm-hmm. I want to remind them that they have over 50,000 thoughts in a day. Their brain is like a computer, and they don't...
Way more complicated than a computer.
And you may be reading and stuff, but your mind has the ability to have that many thoughts in a day. It's like...
It's not voluntary, it's involuntary.
Right. And if you are from my era, I don't know about yours, Mark, but my era, there used to be a thing called encyclopedias.
I used to love encyclopedias.
For those who don't know what an encyclopedia is.
I know what it is, but I never used them.
So it's like 26 books, and each book was a letter of the alphabet, and it told you everything that they could put in there information-wise. So like, A, apple, aardvark. So if you had to do a report at school, you had to go to the...
That's how you got the information on
something? There was no internet. There was no way to Google.
Can you imagine how great we would have been in school if we had the internet?
Yeah, or how efficient.
Or how disconnected we would have been. So, but anyhow, if you were lucky enough that your parents could buy encyclopedias, you could buy them on time. Like you could get an A, then you could get a B, and you could buy them, or you could buy a whole set. And it was a lot of money.
Yeah, they were expensive.
Did they update them every year? Like the dictionary?
Well, no, you had to buy like new sets. No, it wasn't. And it wasn't like the phone book, if anybody knows what a phone book is.
Do you know what a phone book is, Lexie?
I'm really dating myself.
I've used a phone book before.
How about a map?
Yes, well, I've never actually needed to use a map other than GPS because I was too young to use them. But I was just saying the other day when we were driving home from Memphis, I was like, if we had to use a map right now, there's no way we'd get home. If I had to direct somebody using a map, there's no way I could get anybody home.
The only time I've ever seen a map in Lexie's hands is when you were, how old were you when we moved here?
Oh, 8? I didn't know that.
She was in the back seat of my little Jetta, and she had the two cats back there, coffee maker, everything piled around her, and she held the map with a highlighter, and every time we went through a major city, she got to highlight. And go.
All right, Lexie.
So, well,
it'd be great if you still had that map. That'd be so awesome.
That would actually be really cool, Mom.
Anyhow, make me feel guilty. So,
no.
It's like, Mom, it would be so cool if you kept that map.
Okay, with that, we just got off topic of the brain randomly. But also, let's think that you take over 17,000 breaths in a day. And again, you just do it. God's created your body in a miracle that you can just function without plugging in to recharge. I mean, yes, we sleep, but you don't have to do, I don't have to set my mind to say, okay, now think today, or my heart, okay, don't forget to be, that just happens. And,
so physically, you have those things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Those are miracles.
Another thing, and these are things you don't think about that you've taken for granted, is you blink over 28,000 times a day, and the purpose of a blink is to keep your eyes clean and moist. And
you don't even have to know that your whole life for it to happen. It just does.
It's miraculous, yeah.
Think about all the things we don't know the function of that our body does or whatever.
Yeah. So if you are listening to us and we know you have a computer or a phone, that's awesome. But let's not take for granted, the real miracles that are going on every day.
And waking up every day.
Yeah. And if you're mad because you cracked your screen or your phone doesn't work, hey, you're still breathing. Let's not fixate on what we don't have. Let's think of the blessings.
Don't waste your whole day. You've been given this next day for greatness. And
those are just 4 things that your body does.
And
4 simple things.
And to really simplify it for me, the people that get upset when their alarm goes off.
Oh, I love that. I love getting up in the morning.
Oh, gosh.
Well, and I do too. And alarm usually doesn't have to wake me up. Mm-hmm. Okay, but
me either, yeah.
But the fact, who set your alarm, Lexie?
Who sets my alarm?
Yeah.
Me.
So that alarm went off because you wanted it to go off. And you woke up because you wanted to wake up at that time.
Right.
So
that's a good way to look at it.
Because you had a lot of opportunities and fun things to do throughout the day. So you purposely set that. So that's a good way to make it.
That's a really good way to look at it.
And then to be morbid about it, one day that alarm's going to go off. And it's going to keep on going
really
and going and going because you're not going to wake up.
But that's... But
wow,
that will be
depressing.
the time. That will be the time that God will take you, and He will say, "You have done your purpose."
Yeah, and then you get to meet God.
Yeah, and then you have.
So even that's
life.
A great day.
Absolutely, you have to look at everything with gratitude, and I just think there's so many people that kind of overlook the things. I mean, when I look at a tree and how it, sprouts new leaves every year, and it sheds its leaves, and it turns all those colors. I mean, that doesn't just happen. Somebody created that, and we need to appreciate that. And
one thing I would interject also is that I learned this in a Bible study that we just did, the women's Bible study, is that it's okay if you have to take those moments to be like, what am I grateful for? Because I had a bad day. It's okay because God didn't make the world to be, it's not supposed to completely fulfill you. You're not supposed to, that's not here. And I never knew that. I never understood that. And when I heard that, I was like, what? But yeah, no, you're not going to be fully fulfilled. You don't want to be when you're here. That's what, eternal life in heaven is.
It's like the old saying, seek God's approval, not the world's.
Yeah, but that helps me stay grounded, thinking, it's okay that I don't feel good because it's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be fulfilled.
Amen.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And that's, I did produced a podcast with 2 people, and their topic for this particular episode was, and it wasn't a spiritual podcast or anything like that. It wasn't anything like Grateful Gratitude either. They're just talking about the way life is. And their topic was, why, when things are going really, really well for you and really, really good for you, why do you always wait for the other shoe to fall?
Yeah.
Why do you wait for it to end?
Yeah.
And I listen to them, and on certain podcasts, I try not to talk.
Yeah.
And in this one, I finally just turned my microphone on. I said, you know why you're expecting the other shoe to drop? Because it's going to. This world's not supposed to be perfect. Exactly, that's not the way it's supposed to be. So your good times are not going to last forever. Something bad's going to happen. But on the other side, if the good times aren't going to last forever, when you're going through a bad time, that's not going to last forever either.
Yeah, know it then instead of enjoy the happiness and then know whenever something low happens that this is not going to be forever. You do get through it.
Yeah. I'm going to ride the wave of everything's good. If something happens, it happens. But, I think people do fixate on that. Like, well, I've had it so good for so long. Now it's, this is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I used to find myself doing that.
And I do that too. But you know what? Yes, it's going to happen. So deal with it when it happens. There's no point in, especially like what you just said. If you know it's going to happen, but you're still going through your good phase, that's all the more reason to enjoy the good phase.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, and, we've all been through some really difficult, tough times. And we all know that if we practice gratitude through it and find something good about whatever's, we're going through, as tough and as dark as it is, no matter what it is, when you look at it and say, okay, it happened, but what did I get out of it? And it's going to change, because God changes every season and He brings you, sometimes we're down and sometimes we're high on the hog. So it's your attitude.
Right. And those things are supposed to happen to make our journey our journey.
Exactly. Our lives are all pre-planned.
There you go. And it's like working a muscle too, by the way. I mean,
the gratitude muscle.
When you're
yeah, that's what we say. Yeah.
When you're working out, you're really tearing your muscle down, and then it grows back stronger.
Exactly.
So you're putting your muscle through stress.
Yes.
it's growing stronger. And so when you go through bad times, and you think about the bad times you had in your life, and I'd say 99 times out of 100, those bad times, you end up being stronger when you come out of it.
Yes, absolutely. True, so true.
It's just, getting through them. And like when Lexie danced, she taught me about muscle memory. I'm like, what is that? But when you do it over,
practice something, the more it's muscle memory.
And that's what we say with gratitude. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes, and the more you don't see the negative.
Yep.
Cool.
How can we find you?
Well, we're Grateful Gratitude on pretty much every platform except for Instagram. We're Grateful Gratitude 11, but we have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube. You're hearing us on a podcast. And then we also have a blog that's gratefulgratitude.net. And I believe that's it.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.